everyone. Welcome to No Socks. This is episode number 4, and we are so lucky to be here with Jeremy Tang. I'm Katie, and this is Pat.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I'm part of the crew apparently now.
Yeah.
But I'm still a guest, which is kind of cool. I like to be here.
We'd love to have you here.
I can't wait to be on to switch the roles, and I'll be interviewing you. Would that be nice? Would you like that?
Would you excuse me?
No, we've named this podcast after you. This is our 4th episode.
Did you say you named it after me?
Yeah, well, this one's for you.
Oh.
This is your podcast, so we're here to talk about you, not us.
About me.
I think he was just threatening us with the prospects of the future.
Oh, don't worry, that'll come. That'll come. Yeah. But how's the journey here?
The classic question. I like how this is now a recurring thing.
Yeah, we're gonna ask everyone this.
It was crazy. My GPS took me a completely different way than previous times.
Oh.
Okay.
And there were a lot of hills. And my car was going vroom, trying to get up it, and it was not that good. But I'm here. The aircon was on full blast. There's aircon in here. If you hear any rumble in the background, that's what that is.
It's like
If you listen closely.
Terraformers,
it's just
cockroaches.
background percussion. Wait, did you say cockroaches?
That's like Terraformers, cockroaches.
Anyway.
Yeah. Only some people get that. Yeah. Keep going.
That's pretty
just
much
bunch
it.
of hills and whatnot, right?
Sorry?
Bunch of hills and
Bunch of hills.
Bunch of
and
air conditioning.
it was like, turn right. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a whole bunch of people waiting behind me. But luckily there was like a gap. So I was like, vroom. Nearly spun out. But that's fine. That's fine. It's all good.
Wait. What music were you driving to?
Today I was listening to this playlist I made to kind of play like as house music, like when people walk into a theater.
Oh, okay. Right.
I have I listen to music, I'm like, that sounds like a kind of groovy song, so I add it to this one specific playlist. And I'm like, I have such great taste. I tell that to myself all the time. I'm like, this is such a good playlist. I am so good at everything. But then I actually listen to it. I'm like, what are these songs doing here?
Fair enough.
Wait, can we have the playlist? Wait, can we link it?
You can link it towards the end of.
I use Apple Music, and everyone seems to shun Apple Music. So
I mean,
I don't. Yeah, I personally.
I'll put it on my profile. If people use Apple Music, you can listen to it and judge me.
I think but I think actually this is a good segue into this. But yeah, so you're our audio engineer. What else?
I am.
Yes, tell us a bit about. Yeah, so in case you don't know.
Yeah.
In case the viewers don't know who you are, even though we've kind of sort of briefly mentioned this already, but what do you do?
I am, as you said, an audio engineer or sound engineer or audio dude or whatever you want to say. Pretty much, it's the way I describe it to kind of random people who have no idea, just so I can kind of get a clear image. I'm like, oh yeah, I record music and stuff, in the studio, and they're like, oh, cool.
That's really nice.
So yeah, that's one of the things I like. I also like to do like live sound things for like theaters, musicals, live gigs and stuff.
Live podcasts and
podcasts. I'm entering this podcast.
Yeah.
So if
future Jeremy.
if it doesn't sound good, I'm sorry. I did my best. I will have done my best. And yeah, I anything that's kind of audio related, like audio for film as well. I like doing mainly when I was at uni. So that was
right.
Then the pandemic came along. And but we'll get to her.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
this is like kind of like one of those stepping stones, kind of getting back into audio and just re-immersing myself with everything that there is to do. Because there's so much to do, and I had an identity crisis recently where I was like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
What would I like to do,
Yeah, right.
And I don't know, this is just one of the pathways I was like, this is going to be like a lot of fun. Like, I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're super grateful that you've definitely helped us with this podcast. And the lives, it's just, the audio is so much better in it, Brandon. Yeah, he's nodding himself. But yeah, I guess then, so this is, I guess, what you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you come across audio engineering in the first place?
It's kind of, it's a long, boring, kind of interesting, but also kind of very boring story.
That's not just.
Caitlyn knows already, but pretty much kind of started in like grade 6. So I wanted to be in the primary school musical, and I was like, it's my last year. I want to do a principal role. I want to be, one of the leads. And I was so excited to audition, but unfortunately that same day, we were doing sport with my teacher, and I just, I don't know what happened, but he made me upset, made me do a lap of the oval or whatever.
Okay.
And
then
brutal.
I'm like, as I'm coming around, I'm like, I kind of start tearing up and I get really upset. And I'm like, ugh. I go home, like after school. And the audition is like very soon after. But here's the thing, the audition was run by my teacher.
That
same teacher that made me upset.
Right.
But so I was too scared to kind of like sing or do anything in front of them. So
that would
I couldn't really do the audition. So then I obviously didn't get a principal role because
You didn't, yeah.
not for me.
Wow.
right.
So instead of being in the chorus, because I didn't want to be in the chorus, I don't know.
You're like, if I'm not
If I'm not the star, I don't want to be involved. Yeah. Well, that too, whatever.
Yeah.
Wow. The
show's not good enough for me.
Yeah. Instead though, like they used backing tracks because it's a primary school. They can't really form an orchestra or anything. Yeah. All we can do is play recorders. So there was actually one musical they did where they had a band and it was just a bunch of people, like kids, like hitting like these little drum things and playing the recorder. It was so bad. It's so bad. And there were actually characters in the show, like they were involved in it. I was like, I don't know who wrote this, but they need to stop.
Oh my God.
It's like a vocal shred.
Anyway, so they had backing tracks, and I would go along to rehearsals and play, like be on the CD player, play pause and stuff like that. A lot of like quick cues and stuff. So like
and you
make
were
sure
like,
I had to play at the right time.
Wow. Okay.
And then when it came to the show, we actually performed a show at my high school, which had a pretty big auditorium and all that kind of stuff. And I got to go up in the control room where they have all the equipment and stuff. And I kind of really be amongst all that and see it from that perspective.
Yeah, because like I'd go to my school didn't have an auditorium, so I'd have to go to another school to and that room, it's just freaking cool. Like the mixing fading room, right? It's like
they're very, very cool. Lots of cool, expensive equipment that freaks people out.
but you're like,
I'm like, I know what this means. I'm not going to tell you, but I know what this does.
yeah.
But that was pretty cool. And then
it's like the person you hate and just like fade down. Mic technical difficulties.
I mean, no, I would never do that. What are you talking about? Flash forward high school, I kind of start doing music class in high school. Like I started learning guitar and stuff like that. Yeah. And when I got to like year 9 and 10, Caitlyn and I were actually for 1 year we were in like a class band together. Like they'd have the classes at the same time and they would join up and all perform together. It was okay, but
I loved it.
It was fun, but also
so much.
Like people wouldn't kind of like learn the music properly, and it'd just be kind of shocking.
Oh well, maybe you got better in year 10 then.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like, I mean,
I loved it.
It happens across a lot of music,
I
like a
think
lot
so
of
too.
public sort of, or like just schools that aren't very musically oriented.
Did you also have 20 guitarists playing the same thing,
Yeah.
the same parts?
Reminds me of that time. Reminds me of that time, like like how they have like those rock kind of meetups, I guess, of like everyone plays Seven Nation Army at the same time. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
with drums and stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, but like,
They kinda, yeah.
I mean,
Did we play in the same band when we did Seven Nation Army, or was that?
I feel like we may have. It sounds like something we would have done.
It's a coincidence.
I mean, we did actually have 2, 3, or 4 drummers somehow playing in sync with each other. Which is
oh my god.
surprising.
very
yeah.
exciting.
But yeah, at that point, I was just doing basic like rhythm parts. Like everyone else was doing the lead parts. And I was like,
20 people playing lead.
like, we
Actually,
don't
all
need
the
that
lead
many people.
tones.
Yeah, oh, whatever.
Wait,
It was just kind of like the concept was just a bunch of white noise. Like,
wait, was it like acoustic guitars or was it actually electric guitars? Because
Most-
20 amps going through, what the frick?
I think it was a mix.
Okay.
I don't know how. I just found a guitar, I picked it up, and I played an electric one during the concert. I was like, this is a lot easier on my fingers. They had, I don't know if you remember, but we had these little hub things that you could plug in 5 inputs into. and
Oh
then
my
output one.
God.
It's kind of like a rehearsal room kind of piece of equipment.
It's kind of like those headphone jacks, but
kind of-
instead the ops with
Kind of like a
inputs,
mini
right?
mixing desk, but like really, really easy to use and
Yeah.
basic. I had 5 guitars go into one of those, and then out of that into an amp.
Oh,
And then they mic'd up the amp. I was like,
oh my god.
Oh my god, how
Oh.
did
I
that
don't know how-
sound?
Blast from apart.
I mean, were they using like a
The
real
pump.
Fender? Like,
it's just.
tell me they weren't using
I've watched like the same kind of concert, but in different years from the audience, and I'm just kind of like,
So you're saying that you've went back and watched it over the years?
I watched it like they.
Well, you would have transitioned to
Yeah, done
from
like,
being
yeah.
in it to doing sound.
Yeah,
stuff.
like year 7, 8.
Oh wait, so you mean
I
like
would've
that kind of
gone and
show,
watched it,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay,
I
I
think
get what you mean
in
now.
11 and
Yeah.
12, I would have watched it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, at that point, I was like, all of my friends were just kind of like better at instruments, and I was just kind of like, I just don't really want to do this, you know, because everyone's clearly better at me. They're all doing things like I didn't learn about bar chords until like year 10. I was like, that's a lot. That's a much easier way to kind of play chords.
I mean, I learned because I started. I don't know if you'd say, I'd started playing guitar like grade 6. So when I was like 12, I'd say.
I think I did the same.
Yeah, and like it's kind of a late time, but I don't know. Is it late? That's what I'm wondering.
I
Like
think medium.
anyone who's like in the audience, it's like, when did you guys start playing guitar? Because I don't know.
Because
I think
everyone
late-
who's watching
yeah,
plays guitar. No other instrument
If
exists.
you do, or any instrument that you play, you know, like it could be a piano, it could be a violin, you know, but like, yeah, like I guess 12 is like kind of a late time because you have kids that, I mean, I think kids can be like about 8 years old when they start.
Oh, yeah.
Even then, it's a little bit tough on their fingers, perhaps. Like, you know, physically
Like
the
baby
flesh is
guitars, yeah.
just hurts them. So I'm just like, 12 feels pretty late, right?
So.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But yeah, I just like after seeing what everyone else's level was at, and like they're like,
You didn't want to play the catch up.
I couldn't catch up at that point.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, when it came to like year 11, having to choose like a vet course, like something outside of the school.
So you can do like the splits, like there's VC, VCAL, or there's like
VC
vet.
with
VC.
vet, yeah.
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 Because you could like also just like stack music, right? Like vet, VCAL.
You can do VC music
Yeah, not-
and vet music.
Yeah,
but
VCAL's
not
like
VCAL?
a separate. I think it was more very hands-on trades and
Oh, okay, right.
yeah, like
Yeah.
designed to get you straight into jobs.
into work in the industry, yeah.
So that's why like VC is like, you know, VC more recognized by a wider array of universities, and vet is also like, you know, you're getting a Cert 3 on the side. So it's you're getting prepared for both.
You're like
you know?
doing two things at once.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people go to other kind of places to kind of get, you know, a Cert 3 afterwards.
Yeah.
So
This
we
was
were
great.
It was lucky, and like I actually when we were choosing the programs, I was like, I don't know. I want to do one, but I don't know. So I chose web and animation. I went to like the one orientation class and I was like, nah. I had to travel like half an hour or more to get to it. And it's just, I was like, I did learn a few things about Photoshop, which I continue to use to this day. Surprisingly, I learned quite a bit in that one orientation. But I was like, then all the musician friends I had were doing this one called technical production, which involves
productions. Don't know if
it's kind of like getting
it's kind of a weird, it's kind of a funky name for what it is. I don't know why they chose that.
It might have like it's probably evolved a bit now, but it's basically like, so you see everything on stage and then all the things off stage, like who sets up the the sound and the lighting and then there's some hands-on things we did as well, like like when you build a cable like once things like that.
But all the musician friends were kind of doing that and I was like, that sounds cool. So I changed from doing web and animation because I didn't want to travel to technical production, which was very conveniently, so I lived right across the road from my high school, so the bell would start ringing and I'm like, I'm just gonna head over now, I'll take the time.
We're like such opposites. I would have to take a half-hour bus to school every morning. It'd get me there like, what time did I get to school? 6:30? No, am I crazy?
8.
I can't remember. Either way, but I would wake up 6:30 a.m.
I was going to say, getting to school 6:30. Do they like? I know some schools don't even open. I mean, this is from like suburban Melbourne, but like schools don't open up that early, like 6:30. They like open up 7:30.
I think like I probably got there 7:30.
Really early, and then you had to wait like at least half an hour after school.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
Is that for like the bus home, or was it just because?
Bus home for me. Yeah.
Like people who live closer obviously got their buses really early. And I feel like they just had to wait for kids who are running late, so they wouldn't leave them behind.
Yeah, it's like because there's like less kids like up around my way. It's like okay, we're gonna get all the kids. Like there's only 2 buses, for the buses I need to catch, but for everyone else it's like like 10 buses, so maybe more.
Yeah.
Wait, so did you do technical productions as well then?
Yeah, so actually when so we're a year apart, and when I was so he's in year 11, I was in year 10. When I got to year 11, I was like I'm like, oh, I kind of, should I do this, that? And then basically Jeremy was like, I think you took me up I think kind of near the end of year 10, and like we did a couple sound things a couple times, and I was like, yeah, okay.
That's cool, you remember.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember because then you'd look behind and like there's like this little window in like this the soundbox thing, what's it called? And then you could like see into the gym, and it was just strange. Anyway, it's just cool, like cool little like and then so ended up going into it, and and our lives have been pretty intrinsically entwined ever since.
Pretty much,
a bit before that, and then it was just like
and I think it was really cool because
the things we've seen.
Yeah, we both kind of liked that kind of side of things. When all the other musicians were doing their thing, it was cool because I felt like I wasn't that great at being a musician, but I was a lot better at doing that tech stuff and getting everything working quickly and safely and making everything sound good and stuff like that. I was like, it was one of the things I was continuously curious about, wanted to always know more. Like, it's like I had no really interest in playing music or writing music at that point. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't occur to me until I started doing that vet course. That's the kind of stuff I enjoyed a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like in making everything run smoothly.
It was fun because, everyone was doing their you know, musician stuff, and I was like making it happen.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't, and I had no idea about any of that side of stuff until I did that course. And
single-handedly carrying.
Yeah. and they would always get the vet kids who did tech production to do the sound for our school musical, and that's how we met.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing,
cool.
doing sound.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen Jeremy before, like in that,
hiding away from everyone,
hiding behind the fringe, just like the quiet kid playing the guitar. And I was like, wow, who is that guy? And yeah, and then we met, and yeah, it was good. And somehow, like, you know, we've just gone from like, cause oh my god, how many shows do you think you've done? Like, and what? Because you know, there was the music performances, like the vet kids. Eventually, like, you know, our like bigger school performances, but then getting into the musicals in particular. Like, I think that, you know, like, and just a wider array of things that you have to control. Like in 2017. Can I list a date? Bleep it out if it's not appropriate. Yeah, and you had like 18. There were 18 different voices, I think, like to manage, like when I was in Into the Woods.
Oh, yeah.
It's like how...
18 or even more at that point.
Yeah. Like, and there's also the band, and it's just like how, like you have impeccable attention to detail and integrity as well.
Thank you.
And...
It's very nice to hear.
How do you, yeah, I don't know. How do you keep that composure? Like, and that, like, how do you not just explode from, oh my God, there's so many things to do right now?
I think it may be one of those things, you know how like people get adrenaline from like driving fast or, you know, doing daredevil things. I felt like I had a lot of adrenaline when I was mixing musicals. I was kind of like ready to pounce, you know. I was oh my God, I know that's going to come out. It's probably going to be loud, stuff like that. Like this next scene is like, I did a lot of preparation. That also helped. But like, I think once I was always nervous, and then once I kind of got started, I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
It is really just
it kind of just happened. I mean, I mean, it's if to the audience it seems like you're not doing anything at all, that's how you know you're doing a good job.
Yeah, because they wouldn't notice. If they notice, you notice when someone messes up.
If it's an immersive experience where you kind of walk in, you know, the visuals are good, the acting is good, the sound is good. That kind of like, it seals you in this kind of experience of, you know, you're actually there, like, you know, watching in a different place. You're not sitting in some big room where actors have microphones and, you know, stuff like that. So I always felt like, I always liked the kind of audience kind of perspective.
Yeah, right.
And, you know,
that's very
how
cool.
it would feel like having, like, sounds wanky, but like I liked feeling the energy that came from a big audience.
Yeah,
like, this was back in 2014 through to 2017.
Yeah.
It felt really good to have people there and hear the cheering and like know that you contributed like quite a bit to the performance and making sure everything runs smoothly.
Yeah. And like, and going forth as well, like, I mean, you went to university.
I have since gone to uni.
You know.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And like you created, you know, I don't know if you want to jump straight in this or if you want to like sprinkle in some context. But Jeremy actually, he like created his own live performance series. And that's like
it was mainly because we had to for like an assessment. But I did want to do something above and beyond because I always wanted to be that person who was just like, oh my God, why are they doing that? That's so extra. Like I wanted people to look at my project and be like, wow.
Like, why is he putting so much effort into that? But like,
I mean, that's not the point.
If
you pay $60,000 for a degree, surely you want it to be worth every single dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I feel like that's with tertiary education in general. Like most people are most likely not working as hard or not getting as much out of every dollar.
I've always hated the phrase, P's get degrees. Like, no. P's get you a pass and inadequate kind of knowledge of what you signed up to study.
Exactly, and then you feel kind of a bit unfulfilled and maybe a bit sad. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't, like, a pass is like 50%. Like, you wouldn't want to spend all that money and only feel like you know 50% of the content or 50% of what you should know.
So if you're going to do something, like, do it good. Like,
that's what we like to do. We want to do our best. We're learning here. Things are always getting better. That's one of the things I always like as well. Things just constantly get better.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting better, Brandon, you okay?
Yeah, you okay?
You okay? Is everything still rolling?
Yeah, just the battery ran out.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to put on charge?
No, we don't need it.
We don't need it?
So we're just going to look into this camera now. And
yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do some sharp zooms to really emphasize.
I guess one
Okay.
with
Yeah.
I have two things I've thought about. You can answer them in any order, but what's the biggest nightmare of like technical difficulties you've had on on any sort of musical production thing?
That's a very good question.
Like, what's like that one time that you feel like you're traumatized
I wasn't
by?
expecting that question.
I'm sorry.
We're not gonna
think about it.
We're not gonna dox anyone, but like, like Adam, just you can sort of obviously like, I guess talk about that experience, but I guess don't dox anyone.
I mean, there have been a few, like when I was still new, like things like feedback, like loud squealing, for those who don't know, and not like that.
So I was demonstrating. I'm sorry.
Thanks. Crackling or distortion. I don't know. Thankfully, nothing too disastrous has happened. Not that I know of or can remember. I have poor memory about things. I do tend to block things out that I don't want to think about.
Wow.
But yeah, that's. I hope not to have anything major soon. Now that I know what I know, like I think it's excusable when you're young and just starting out, but I think I don't want to do anything like that. I really don't hope I ruin the audio for this podcast because I'll be monitoring. I can't really see from here.
Yeah.
I mean, like from this distance, right? It looks like it's not moving at all, right?
I see some waveforms. So
Okay, it's moving a little bit, but at the same
we're in
time.
there somewhere.
Okay, so then the other question was, what would you I guess I was trying to figure out a way to word this, but do you have any questions in the meantime you'd like to ask?
I don't want to interrupt your question.
I mean, I'm just going to be thinking here for ages, so please.
Okay.
Come on, ask a question.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna further along the story. And like, what sounds?
The freaking life project. We kind of forgot to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What life project?
For my uni course, the last big thing we had to do was called a major project, which pretty much meant something that's pretty significant and will take. We had to spend 6 weeks planning it and 13 weeks executing it. My plan was to hold. I should have planned it better, but 10 live events that were performed live at the uni, and then recorded audio and visual, and then I would edit them together, publish them onto Facebook and YouTube, and it was kind of like an introduction to some artists I knew and kind of give them a platform to kind of do something. Because a few of them, including Caitlyn, had not actually performed an actual live gig, solo.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I thought it was a good opportunity to kind of showcase that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And yeah, give performers something they probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And give them like these audio and visual assets that I could use for, you know, to if they wanted to like release like a live album or just have some demos like professionally kind of filmed and recorded. I thought like this is kind of like a cool concept. So I think that's like there are things I could have done better, like a lot of things. But for the most part, I'm like really happy with.
You did the best you could at that time, right? So
with a budget of like $0.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
You should actually. I mean, can I tell them to go look it up?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of part of my career's portfolio.
It's live on the Soundstage. Check it out. It was cool.
Is that the same one with like Spaceman Band and everything? Is that the same stage or was that a different one?
Different place.
Different
place? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I haven't seen it. I should check this out then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was such a cool project to do. Like a lot of other people kind of did completely other things. Like they did just studio production rather than live sound.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool to do something different to everyone and stand out.
Yeah.
Just wish I could do something a bit better. Like thinking back, I did the best I could. Yeah. Like thinking
with the budget, $0 budget,
$0 and you know, doing everything like mixing on headphones in my small but like shoebox size apartment, you know. And I tried to do the best I could. I really did. But yeah, maybe in the future we'll see a revival or something.
We could, you know, do a No Socks live, which we have been talking about.
One of the things I like about No Socks and being able to be part of the crew here
the values are very,
it's kind of like in a way kind of a rebirth of that kind of concept, like bringing in, you know, local artists, talking to them, having them perform and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. So after uni and like not really doing anything
for a while,
much for a while, it was kind of good to kind of get back into it and be like, yeah, this is stuff that I like doing.
We actually, which we also haven't mentioned yet,
haven't we mentioned yet?
we started, you know, Jeremy and I like were working on. We've done a couple projects together.
I have tried to rope you into a few projects where I've needed someone to sing. And I'm like, please come and sing. I don't know anyone else. Please.
It's fine.
All right. Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah.
And you were working on my EP with me as well, which is something that I think we both struggle from this, which is like oh my God, I'm terrible
The work
at times.
It's like
the work's not good enough.
Trying to get things so perfect that you end up doing nothing at all.
Yeah, it's like they can't see it if it's horrible. And then someone else comes into a project and they're like, this is great. What are you talking about?
Pretty much my life.
See, this is when we were talking about as well, like, you know, I was in particular like, I'd just love to have an episode with Jeremy because I just think you're fantastic.
Oh,
and and also then I was like, and we all have this thing going on, like the three of us, where it's like, wow, we're terrible. Like, why do you think that is? You know,
I think it's just always want to outdo myself and continuously do better, or I feel like there's some sort of shame associated with putting out something that I don't think is something I would, you know, consider to be really high quality.
Yeah.
The thing is, well, maybe it comes back to also the attention to detail, perhaps. Like,
I think so.
Because you listen probably to other people's work and it's like, that's awesome. And then you kind of want, like, when you're not meeting that, I think that's when
it's like trying to emulate what other people have done. Like,
or avoid things that something has done, or
in some ways, it's like you're listening to that and you're just like, but they might have done it better, and like you're like, surely I can make my work possibly better. You know, like I think that's part of it.
And it just kind of makes me feel like, like when you know, some of my friends from uni have gone out and released things and it sounds really good. One of those people, Nick, hi, if you're watching, I don't know if you will, but
watch it.
I've always kind of been a fan of, you know, one of my friends is like, everything he does is just so good. Like, for like he was the one I always kind of wanted to kind of
aspire towards.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does it with an even lower budget somehow of what I have. So congrats, Nick. You make me feel like I need to do better.
Yeah.
But it's been really good to kind of see, you know, a lot of my friends kind of release stuff lately. So like Sabrina and Sherry, like seeing them have music and working on music, it's really cool to kind of see. One of your Live on the Soundstage kind of co-acts, if you can call it that.
I think she was like the week before me or something. I think
so. Louise. You're probably not watching this, but if you are, hi.
Hi, Louise.
If you watch this, you have to tell her, because I'm too shy to. But she recently put out an EP, which is kind of the same feel, a little bit of what I want to create with you.
Yeah. Okay.
And obviously, like we did record parts of the EP, like in 2019. Right, for kind of like as an assessment.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's the thing as well. There's the thing about the accountability of and having assessments is that they have these deadlines, and it's like that is absolute. Like, okay, you can't be a perfectionist anymore because you have to do it now. But still, like, so hence why it's like there comes to a point in those things where you have to settle. But when you're, you know, cruising along at the pace of life out of uni, there's this thing where it's like, where's the deadline? You have to.
And that's why like that uni project I mentioned is just is the way it is, just because it's an art project, you know, it's a creative project, but it had a deadline, had strict deadlines. And it was kind of hard to conform to that while making something the way I want it to be.
You
know, there are a lot of things that I would change for, like, we had to record you for the assessment, like, you know, I've been working on it here and there to kind of, you know, change, like, do what I can, but, like, what this brings me to is let's go and re-record.
Like, we've got to get back into it, you know.
Like, especially with COVID lockdowns and stuff, we haven't had a chance to kind of come together and work on those projects.
Yeah, which is very, very difficult because, like, you're being cut off from the thing that you love to do and that makes you, that's like where your purpose is. And, you know, I mean, and you're also doing, if I can mention it, bleep it if not, bloop, but sound for Crown as well. And, like,
really?
Yeah, like, how cool is that?
Setting up stuff. I don't know.
But still, it's
still freaking
pretty
cool.
There's something too about, you know, you're, like, being able to be paid for doing the thing you love is also amazing. Like it's the dream, right? I mean, how do you feel?
How I feel? I mean,
because then, like, COVID, you know, shuts things down. At least, you know, teaching and some things can go online, but live music being shut down is tragedy.
like being in an industry where you kind of rely on people being, like, gathering,
and
has really kind of really depressed the entire industry.
But it's
I feel
slowly
like
coming back a bit now, right?
As we come out of it, I feel more confident in getting back to doing, like, what lockdowns has taught me is, like, it's not worth it to kill yourself for something you don't, you know, like doing. I have always wanted to just kind of, like, even though at this point, like, stuff like this and recording is just, like, may only be a passion project, you know, it's still something I want to work on. It's still something I always want to try and find time to do, because, you know, I don't want to get old and just be like, I should have done this, or it would have been good to do this back then, or I regret doing this. And I think it's life is a bit short to not want to pursue things that, you know, we all kind of feel good doing.
Like, we may as well. Like, we're alive.
So I think, so what we were discussing was that this podcast episode was establishing a little bit of accountability between us. But for all of us in the room too. And for anyone watching, if you feel like you need this message,
Yeah.
I think, you know, coming out of a weird year, it's time to kind of put yourself first and work on projects you want to work on.
Yeah, tap into those creative resources and outlets, and
like do what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy. You know, let's put out something. Let's show the world what we have to offer.
Yeah,
and you know, speaking of what we have to offer, we have. Oh, this is episode 4, so we actually already have 3 other episodes, don't we?
Yeah,
We do.
And we also have a bunch of lives. Like last week, we had Sherry.
Oh yeah, we got some.
You know, Luke,
Sensation.
who's going to be, or Sabrina, to be fair, and then Luke, who's again, it's this awkward situation of he's going to be here yesterday, pretty much. The live will go yesterday. This will be released.
Not the time thing again.
Tuesday.
I can't do this.
We didn't work on that, don't we?
Let's just say last night.
Last night, yeah.
Last night.
Not later on. Last night.
Yeah. And yeah. But I mean, stay tuned for our content. Don't forget to like and
please do.
subscribe to No Socks. And
Please do.
that's it. We've been your hosts, Pat,
Katie.
and
This is Jeremy.
I'm the sound dude, so I'm not really your host, but
Wait,
I'm a guest this time. I
I
guess.
know. He's part of the family.
You'll hear my work in the future.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, we're gonna watch this space, as they say. You know how people always say that on Instagram? Wait, don't they say that?
I think so.
Watch this space. Just watch it, okay? Things are coming.
this
Things
space.
are gonna happen, okay? Just let yourself off the hook, guys. Just
Let yourself off the hook, but
give
also
Soul
do
the
that thing
music.
that you've been wanting to do. Let's go record.
watch your video.
okay.
Bye.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.